The power of kindness. The neon lights of Lily's Bistro flickered against the backdrop of a rainy New York City evening, their soft glow barely illuminating the cracked pavement. Inside, 23-year-old Olivia Carter balanced a tray of steaming plates with the grace of someone far older than her years. The bistro's faded wallpaper and creaky wooden chairs whispered stories of time, resilience, and survival, much like Olivia herself. Despite her modest life and the relentless grind of double shifts, she carried a light within her, an unwavering kindness that refused to dim. For Olivia, Lily's Bistro wasn't just a job, it was her lifeline, a means to support her little sister Eve, ensuring the 8-year-old had a future far brighter than her own. Yet Olivia's true calling lay beyond the worn-out tables and coffee-stained menus. Every night after her shift, she carefully packed leftover food into brown paper bags and handed them to the homeless she passed on her walk home. It wasn't much, but to those in need, it was a lifeline. That evening, as the rain poured mercilessly over the city, Olivia spotted a small figure huddled beneath the metal bench at the train station. Her heart clenched. A young girl, no older than Eve, shivering, soaked to the bone, and clutching a thin, tattered jacket against the brutal cold. Olivia hesitated for only a moment before stepping forward, her voice soft and reassuring. "Hey there, sweetheart," she said, kneeling beside her. "Are you okay? Where's your family?" The girl looked up, her pale face streaked with rain and exhaustion. "I don't have anyone," she whispered, barely audible. "I'm hungry." Without a second thought, Olivia extended her hand. "Come with me," she said gently. "Let's get you warm." Shielding the child with her own coat, Olivia led her through the rain, ignoring the chill that seeped into her own skin. Inside the bistro, she wrapped the girl in a thick blanket and placed a steaming bowl of soup before her. The child's eyes widened in wonder before she eagerly began to eat, savoring each bite as if it were her first meal in days. For the first time that night, warmth spread through Olivia's chest, an undeniable comfort that even the biting cold couldn't steal. What Olivia didn't realize was that someone had been watching. Across the street, in the back seat of a sleek black sedan, Nathan Reed sat motionless, his sharp, calculating eyes locked onto the scene unfolding inside Lily's Bistro. A billionaire CEO, renowned for his ruthless business acumen and impenetrable demeanor, Nathan was on his usual route home when the flicker of movement outside the bistro had caught his eye. At first, it was simple curiosity. Who was this young woman braving the storm for a homeless child? But as he watched Olivia's genuine kindness unfold, something shifted within him, a feeling he hadn't experienced in years. She didn't do it for recognition. She didn't do it for gain. She did it because she cared. Nathan exhaled slowly, barely registering the sound of raindrops tapping against the window. "Who is she?" he murmured, unable to tear his gaze away. Jotting down the bistro's name, he gave his driver a quiet nod. "Let's go." Yet, even as the sedan disappeared into the night, the image of Olivia remained imprinted in his mind. Her kindness, so simple yet so rare, was a stark contrast to the cutthroat world of wealth and ambition he had built around himself. The following days passed in a blur for Olivia. Between juggling double shifts and helping Eve with her homework, she barely had time to reflect on the young girl she had helped. But her smile, small and grateful, remained etched in Olivia's memory, a quiet reminder of why she did what she did. Nathan, on the other hand, couldn't shake the thought of her. A man who had built an empire on logic and numbers, he found himself captivated by a stranger's simple act of kindness. He needed to know more. An unexpected encounter. One evening, as the dinner rush began to slow, the bell above the bistro's door jingled softly. Olivia glanced up and froze. A tall man in a perfectly tailored suit had stepped inside. His polished shoes and confident stride seemed almost out of place in the humble surroundings. His eyes swept the room before settling on her. Olivia swallowed, quickly regaining her composure. "Welcome to Lily's Bistro," she greeted with a warm smile. "Take a seat anywhere you'd like." Nathan chose a quiet corner booth, but his gaze never left her as she moved effortlessly between tables. He watched how she greeted every customer with patience and warmth, how she refilled a coffee cup without being asked, how she made everyone feel at home. When his meal was finished, he left without a word, slipping an envelope under his plate. It wasn't until Olivia cleared the table that she noticed it. Frowning, she picked it up and unfolded the crisp paper inside. Her hands trembled as she counted the bills, far more than a normal tip. The beginning of change. The next morning, Olivia tied her apron and started her shift, still unsettled by the stranger's generosity. Who was he? And why would someone like him, someone who clearly had everything, care about her? Her thoughts were interrupted when the bistro's door swung open. Nathan had returned. This time, he didn't just order a meal, he asked for her specifically. As Olivia approached, notepad in hand, her heart pounded. "What can I get you today?" she asked, keeping her voice steady. Nathan hesitated, then offered a small smile. "The house special," he said smoothly. "And if you don't mind, I'd like to talk to you after your shift." Olivia blinked, caught off guard. "Oh, I don't usually take breaks." Nathan's expression didn't waver. "Then make an exception," he said, his voice warm yet firm. "Trust me, it's worth it." Curiosity gnawed at her as she served him, but she said nothing. When he finally left, he handed her another envelope. "Open this when you have a moment," he said, his gaze unreadable before stepping out into the night. As soon as he was gone, Olivia unfolded the note inside. Her breath caught in her throat. It was a check for $75,000. A handwritten message accompanied it. "Your kindness inspired me. Use this to build the future you deserve. Nathan Reed." Olivia's hands trembled as tears welled in her eyes. She ran outside, scanning the streets for him. But Nathan's sleek black sedan had already disappeared into the New York night. Have you ever had a moment where one act of kindness changed everything? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that prove the power of compassion. Olivia sat at her small kitchen table, the check for $75,000 resting in front of her like a dream she was afraid to touch. Could she really take this money? Could she trust that it came without strings attached? Doubt gnawed at her, but deep down, she knew the answer. This was a chance, maybe the only one she'd ever get, to build something meaningful, to create a future where kindness wasn't just a gesture, but a way of life. The next day, she walked into the bank and opened an account in her name. With careful planning, she secured a small space in a quieter part of the city and began setting the foundation for her dream. A cafe where no one would be turned away, where kindness and warmth were just as important as the food served. Nathan watched from a distance, ensuring she had everything she needed without interfering too much. He introduced her to the right people, guided her through the legal processes, and quietly supported her as she took her first steps toward independence. It was a partnership built not on obligation, but on mutual respect. Weeks later, Horizon Cafe opened its doors. The first customer to step inside was a familiar face, the little girl Olivia had helped that rainy night. Her eyes sparkled as she looked up at Olivia. "You're the lady who gave me soup," she said softly. Olivia knelt down and smiled. "And I always will." Word of the cafe spread quickly. It became more than just a business. It was a safe haven. Those who had nowhere else to go found a warm meal waiting for them. Families struggling to make ends meet found a community that cared. People came not just for the coffee, but for the hope that filled every corner of the small space. Nathan visited often, sitting in his usual spot near the window, watching as Olivia turned her dream into a reality. One evening, as she wiped down the counter, she glanced over at him and smiled. "You always sit there," she teased. He smirked. "It's the best seat in the house." She hesitated for a moment before speaking. "I never got to thank you properly for believing in me." Nathan shook his head. "You never needed my belief, Olivia. You just needed someone to remind you that you were capable all along." The cafe thrived, and with it, so did Olivia. But more importantly, so did the people who walked through its doors. The little girl she had helped eventually became a part of the staff, paying forward the kindness she once received. The small acts of compassion that started with a single meal rippled outward, touching lives in ways Olivia could never have imagined. One snowy evening, as she locked up the cafe, Nathan stood outside, watching the warm glow of the sign above the door. Horizon Cafe, a beacon of hope, a testament to how one act of kindness could change everything. Olivia stepped outside, her breath visible in the cold air. "Still watching me work?" she asked playfully. Nathan chuckled. "I could watch forever." She smiled, a quiet understanding passing between them. "Thank you," she whispered. Nathan met her gaze, his voice steady. "No, Olivia, thank you for reminding me that kindness still matters." As the snow fell around them, the world seemed to pause just for a moment. One rainy night had changed everything, proving that even the smallest acts of compassion could ripple outward, transforming lives in ways no one could foresee. Do you believe that a single moment of kindness can change everything? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that prove the power of compassion.